And good afternoon to you. I'm Christy McDonald coming to you from the Local 4 newsroom right here on Local 4 Plus. So glad that you are joining us. We are starting our live coverage of the winter storm that is heading our way. In just a couple of hours, we will be under a winter storm warning. The west side of the state is already under a blizzard warning. And you know, I know that we're all Michiganders, we're all hardy folk. We know what to do when a snowstorm comes, but this storm has proven to be tricky and it's already moving in from the west. We're going to get you the very latest in terms of what the models look like. We're also going to check out what's going on the roads right now as well and take you over to the west side of the state. So we're so glad that you are with us here for our streaming coverage. Let's go ahead and get started with Kim Adams. She is in the Weather Center right now, and she has been busy all week long. Kim, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Christy. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. All right. So what are the latest models that you are seeing that came out this afternoon?
Well, the models have now come into really good agreement, especially on the timing of this rain-snow changeover. We can really pinpoint it much more for you. So if you have some plans this afternoon or this evening, most of what will fall will come down as rain. And then sometime, to be conservative, we'll call it 7, 8 o'clock. But most of the changeover will happen between 9 and 2 a.m., that rain changing over to snow, and it goes from west to east. So if you live on the east side and you still have some running around to do tonight, there's a chance you can still get those activities in, things you need to do, you can get done tonight before that snow changes over. Here's one thing that we're very, very concerned about, though. We are getting rain first before this major storm and the Arctic air arrives. Once that Arctic air arrives, temperatures are going to drop dramatically in a very short period of time. Unlike freezing rain that falls from the sky, this is going to be a situation called a flash freeze. So the roads will be wet. We'll go from temps in the 30s to temps close to the teens in a matter of hours. And that will cause a very rare event, but an event that can cause a lot of accidents on the roads called flash freezing. Now, the good part of this is that most of that will happen overnight, but people who work in hospitals, healthcare workers, first responders, anyone who has to be on the roads overnight, they could encounter that flash freeze situation. So that's our first problem, and then more problems tomorrow.
We're going to be talking to people from the road commissions around the area and how they tackle that, because we know that assault on the roads after a certain temperature, it just doesn't work. Kim, talk a little bit about the challenge of tracking the storm and the change of it. And again, we're not looking at massive snow totals. And I think that's sometimes what people are hanging on to. Yeah. But it is the severe winds and everything that's coming that you're talking about, the freezing as well. That's going to be a lot of trouble on Friday.
I think that's been our biggest challenge, communicating the severity of the situation to the public, because when they hear snow totals 3 to 6 inches, they think, oh, there they go again, hyping it up, and it's not that big of a deal. Here's the difference. On a typical Saturday in February, we get 3 to 6 inches. It's an event, but it's not like this. The difference is we are expecting winds 40 to 50, maybe even higher than that. Wind gusts will be incredibly strong, even the sustained winds very strong. So it doesn't really matter how much snow is on the ground. It's what's falling that gets picked up by these high winds, causing reduced visibilities on the road, blowing and drifting. That's what we're really concerned about. And also this Arctic blast of air. If you get stranded on the roadways in a typical situation, 3 to 6 inches, first responders, people can get to you. In this situation, when you have zero visibility, it's going to be tough to get to you. And you combine that with sub-zero wind chills, it causes a very dangerous situation. So that's why this storm is different. When people, we've been talking about blizzard warnings. There's a blizzard warning for parts of the western part of the state and northern lower Michigan. We're under a winter storm warning, but we could have blizzard-like conditions. And I think it's confusing people when they hear 3 to 6 inches, because when they hear blizzard, they think, oh, 2 feet of snow must fall. That's not the criteria for a blizzard.
So the criteria for a blizzard, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Kim, is it's 3 hours of sustained winds at a high level with the snow?
Correct. So visibility 1/4 mile or less, also sustained winds and wind gusts up to and greater than 35 miles per hour. And then also that has to occur for at least a 3-hour period. So we're going to be close to that threshold, even though the snow totals aren't that impressive.
Yeah, you and I have been working together all week, and I've really watched how you've continued to change how this has tracked. So as we sit here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, how many more times can this forecast change? Like, how many different models will you get in before about midnight tonight?
Well, I think we've had the timing of this down pretty well, even earlier in the week. We knew that this was going to be a changeover from rain to snow Thursday night into Friday. We had a very good handle on that very early in the week. But, you know, with today's technology, people really want the forecast down to the minute at their house. And so those kind of things, you know, that has to be fine-tuned, because early in the week we were tracking a system that hadn't even developed yet. The main part of the storm the elements hadn't even come ashore. And so, you know, we're relying on this model data that will continue to change. We'll still get model data in even during the storm. Behind this area of low pressure, the surface low will move off to the east, but the upper level trough will still stay there. And we could get some of these lake effect snow bands, which don't always pick up very well on the models. So even during the storm, we'll continue to get more model data in and just fine tune. But as far as the forecast itself, it stayed pretty consistent with us anyway all week long as far as the timing of it. And the snow totals, even though they varied slightly, we've never thought that this was going to be a snow event as much as snow combined with wind and cold. But we'll continue to fine tune it because we're also going to get snow bands. So there'll be a big difference for people living in Monroe County, in Wayne County, as opposed to Livingston County or Northwest Oakland County.
So I think the best thing is that we have this information, and I know that you've been talking all week also. You know, we have the weather app that people are able to take a look at, and they're able to get the information right there and looking where they are, and also for other parts of the state, because I know this is the time of year, this is a holiday week where people are either expecting family to come in, and now family has come early and is staying longer. That could be an entirely different show, but you know, you know, you're looking at people who are traveling all around the Midwest. So give us an idea again of the tools that we can also use at home along with you to figure out what you're looking at too.
Well, keep in mind, we're only on at certain times during the day on Local 4, but now we have Local 4 Plus, we have streaming, and we also have that Forewarn weather app, which is going to be invaluable during this storm. And we've made it very easy for people to get during the newscast. You can just take a photo of a QR code. You can go to your app store, just type in WDIV and download the Forewarn weather app, because the app is very specific. Listen, I have 3 minutes in a forecast to give you the forecast for every city in Metro Detroit. And when there's differences in those cities, it's tough to get all the information out in that small of a period of time. With the Forewarn weather app, you put your city into the app and the app does everything for you. It will tell you it's going to snow in the next 15 minutes or heavy snow is near. It can be much more specific to where you live.
Kim, you've been meteorologist for a long time. Can you give us a sense of what the next 24 hours will be like with the entire team here at Local 4, and really maybe just give us a little bit of perspective of this storm and how it fits in with our Michigan history?
Well, a lot of us think of the blizzard of 78, at least I do, and we kind of gauge everything from that. This is not the blizzard of 78. There are a lot of differences between the two. The last time we had a blizzard warning was back in 2011, and even that storm was different than this one. The winds were not as high, first of all. It formed differently. So this is a unique storm system. Paul, if we could pan off, you'd see Paul over there. He's writing a weather story for Click on Detroit, which is it's just amazing. It's very comprehensive. You can get a lot of information, good information from it, and not just forecast weather geeky kind of information, but practical information that you can use. So we have that. So Paul's working on that. I'll be getting ready to go on Local 4 on the air at 4 o'clock. Someone's going to be in this weather center. We have been here all week long. We have an incredibly experienced staff, and this is when it counts. This is when you know, we talk to each other, we communicate with each other. So you're not just getting me. When I give a forecast, you're getting a collaboration from several meteorologists with several years of experience.
All right, Kim, I'm going to let you get back to work because I know you have to prepare for 4 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock. You're going to be here all night, and we appreciate all the work, and I'll see you in just a little bit.